This day and age, we go through many phases throughout our lifetime. And I say this day and age because if we go back to earlier times, let's say ancient times, they may have gone through less impactful life-changing phases due to their living conditions. Life wasn't all about movement from here to there, or if it had been, such as like for the nomadic people, it was done peacefully, I believe, without the sensation of being under extreme stress. It was a habitual practice for them, therefore it was something that was natural. Life, wasn't full of the day-to-day tasks that we deal with today. Life was much simpler in a sense back then. They had more time to think about their life. They had more time to sit and contemplate, which accounts for the many philosophical minds from all over the world that we have in our possession in books or told by word of mouth. Our world has changed and we know it and we feel it. So how are we responding to those changes? Well, let's talk about it. But before we do, I just wanted to thank you all for your support and your help by watching our videos and sharing them to others. We're grateful for the emails and the requests for consultations that we have received. We received support, kind words, words of encouragement, motivation from our friends and family, and new people that we have met along the way. And we're very grateful for that. It's been fun connecting with people each time Machi and I get on the Instagram live energy reading sessions, and the participation has been awesome. We get off feeling, energized and positive every time we do it, and we hope you feel the same way too. And a reason for doing this is to show we are energetic spiritual beings, and our energy signature can be seen and interpreted in many different ways depending on, the energy output you're giving off that particular day. So this has not only been a fun engagement for us, but we are learning and growing from simply reading your energy. So this has been a great learning opportunity for us too. There are many kinds of spirits out there. Simply that. Now, in regards to our consultations, we're happy to announce the new services that we have added to our consultation page on our website. So whenever you have time, you can have a look and send us a message if you have any questions at all. This coming Sunday, actually, on the 22nd of May, my mom, Hitomi, and I are offering a free energy healing session on Zoom. We're very excited to get that started on a monthly basis, so this will be our first one. And if you're interested in a basic, pick-me-up, you're definitely invited. Remember, this is for all people, friends, family, colleagues, who are in the need of some energy work. You're all invited. Better yet, it's free. So come join us this Sunday at 7 p.m. GMT2 time, which is here in Spain, and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the U.S. by sending us an email at metaphysicalawakening@gmail.com, and we'll provide you with the link you'll need to join us. We also offer group consultations focused on your own energy so that you can learn and gather information for yourself about what kind of energy you're sending out unintentionally. There are many kinds of energy frequencies that we display, and from time to time we may send out energy pulses or waves that may trigger others around us to react a certain way towards us or around us. So as not to trigger that kind of behavior from someone, we may want to know what that frequency is exactly to prevent that kind of situation or behavior. For those who may have had that feeling, you may know what I mean. Now, for those who send out specific energy frequencies intentionally, you may consciously realize what you're doing to manipulate a person or situation, good or bad, but you may want to get a little deeper into it, such as knowing what kind of vibe you're sending out and how it is that those around you are reacting to it in such a way. If that's the case, then this would be an interesting session for you. In either case, I think it would be an interesting session just to know how you're doing energetically and what more you can do to get your energy flowing correctly so that you feel better and feel stronger What you do energetically affects your mind, heart, and body. So it wouldn't hurt to do some work on ourselves to get back on the right path. Once we get the correct flow of energy running through us, we seem to straighten out some things in our life and in a way change our priorities. We start to be more in harmony with the people around us and within ourselves. At times we deal with conflicts within ourselves, which makes for an unpleasant life. So keeping our energy in check is good for us. Now, moving on, what do I mean by these phases in life that I mentioned early on? What are these phases? Well, I feel that they are like growth spurts in life. And what I mean by that is that at times we go through a growth spurt, such as when we were a child growing up into our adolescent years and even into our early 20s. These are times when we go through mental growth spurts, when a significant change must take place in our life, and we may do something drastic to bring about that change. But why, if this is the case? Well, I'll give you an example. Imagine driving a car down the road and you see no end in sight in front of you. Nothing looks new nor interesting. You look beyond the hills, but you see nothing but the same thing. You look up at the sky, and there again, you see nothing but the same thing. Driving on that road for hours and hours, seeing the same thing can be a bit cumbersome, in the sense that it can put a heavy weight on a person's life if life was that way. In fact, depressing. Nothing you see gives you any excitement. Nothing you see gives you any joy. Nothing you see gives you any comfort. Nothing you see gives you any impression that things will be different or that any change will come your way. Nothing. Simply that, nothing. So if your day-to-day life falls into that condition for a long period of time, how do you feel? Sad, depressed, frustrated, angry that life didn't give you any lemons? Or do you feel you want to give up? Or that you feel lonely on that road or path in life? Or that you feel like a failure because this is not at all what you expected or how you expected to live in this particular phase of your life? What is it that you feel exactly? Well, we all go through this at some point in our life, whether we are in our 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and so on. It's a natural process in life. Something in us triggers a change in our life by provoking a certain emotion or thought process in our mind to get us out of this rut, to get us moving in life, to get us back on our path, to get us to make major changes in our life, to put our priorities in check, to get us thinking about our purpose in life, to get us thinking about the spiritual aspect of our life, to get us moving on to the next phase in life, to get our butt moving, so to speak. There are many different reasons for such a thing to take place in our life at different stages throughout our life. And all of them seem to be connected to growth, some form of growth. And we all need it and we all experience it. It's just necessary. So what is this all about really? Is someone looking out for us? Are we being spiritually prodded, so to speak, from someone on the other side, by our family members who watch over us on a daily basis? What is it about? Well, I find that in time we soon find out what it was about, because how many of us went through a moment in our life when we had to put our priorities in check? When you felt your life was out of balance, when you felt something not right about the path you were taking in life, when you desire to do or add something fun or exciting in your life. How many of you felt any of these things at some point in your life? I imagine we have all felt one of these things or all of these things in different stages of our life. We felt the need to grow out of this box that we've contained ourselves in for so long, and it's not at all what it's cracked up to be. So we switch modes in life and see where this new mode takes us. But one thing I know for sure is that we benefit from these changes. We benefit from the additions we've made in our life. We benefit in some way or in some manner. But what of those who didn't or who don't? And what I mean by that is sometimes we don't make the right decisions. What I mean by that is, okay, stereotypically, when a man goes through a midlife crisis, they are known to have bought a ridiculously expensive sports car, or marry a woman who is half their age, who may bring some kind of excitement to their life. But before they know it, their life is in shambles because all the money is spent and they have nothing in common. So arguments occur one after another and so on. So again, this is a stereotypical view of when a man experiences a midlife crisis. And of course, not all marriages with a younger spouse end up that way. But you get what I mean. Sometimes that happens and the whole family and friends are affected by it. It can be quite troubling in the sense that their children from a previous marriage or relationship will have to take on this drama into their life, into their normal life, because they don't want to see their father suffer. So it ripples out to other family members. At times during our growth spurts, or we'll call them transitional phases in life, we may cross paths with the wrong person or end up in the wrong place or situation. Just because we cross paths with them doesn't mean it was necessarily meant to be. But because we are in the moment, let's say, we make rapid decisions based on our emotions at that particular time. So we go on to make further bad decisions, which could lead us in a courtroom scenario like these two here, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, where they have been now and again. So, but anyway, sorry I'm mentioning them as an example. It's just because it blows my mind how they established a relationship when you can clearly see a stark difference between the two personalities. Now, I'm not one who has experienced a midlife crisis, at least not yet so far, but my time is yet to come. We all experience some form of midlife crisis, whether into our 20s, 30s, 40s, or well into our 60s. It's at different times for each individual. For me, I went through a crisis which came across as a drastic change in my life. It's what's got me here on the other side of the Atlantic, basically. I was unhappy about my prospects in life when it came to my career. I wanted nothing to do with the options I had in front of me in my line of work. It brought no satisfaction to me. And to be honest, I felt depressed because it was taking me nowhere. It didn't fulfill any purpose in my life. And that was fundamental to me at that particular time. It was all I could think about. But my case was small compared to what others may endure. It may have to do with your relationship. It may have to do with your behavior that has been, impeding your life, or it may have to do with your outlook in life, insofar that, you were heading towards a path you thought was the right fit for you until you discovered later in life it wasn't. Or perhaps you follow that path and suddenly your perspective changed completely due to some explosion of information that came to you. Whatever it is, it comes in different ways, different forms. But what I'm trying to say is that, for me, in my case, it didn't affect my family in so much that it disrupted their lives or any of my friends. And I wasn't in a relationship at the time either, so no heartbreak was involved. I needed a new outlook in life, and Spain was for me. On the other hand, it wasn't easy for me coming here as a foreigner, trying to make a life for myself. And it was, but it was one of the aspects of the situation that kept me here. I liked the struggle in a way. I liked the challenge. I wasn't going to give up. But like I said, it wasn't easy, and I'm grateful that I decided to take that uphill battle. In the end, it's been worth it for me. But for others, it may not be the outcome they expected or wished for. In that case, it's good to look into or inspect as to why. Why is it that the situation you hoped for when you felt the strong desire or impulse to make a drastic change in your life didn't turn out quite right? Why did it end in anger and frustration and sometimes hate, because it may involve you and someone else you used to love? How come it ends up that way? Well, I find that even when we decide to take that drastic change in our life, we tend to stay the same. What I mean is that we carry whatever baggage we've had previously accumulated and drag them into our new phase in life. You may feel slightly different because of, the new situation or the new person in your life, or perhaps even a new country, but you're still the same along with the burdens you carry. Sometimes guilt, maybe anger and frustration, and so on. Our baggage isn't made up of nice, wonderful things, and they usually blur our vision or our thoughts and manipulate our feelings about a certain situation or person. So why not drop our baggage and leave them behind before we take on this new step in life? It's hard, right? Many of us don't even realize we have them. We just want to rush into this new phase because we're tired of the old and we need out of the current life we're in. So we just want to escape without fully realizing that we may need to examine ourselves. What can we work on? What can we do to make our transition better so that it's long lasting? What can we work on that will make us a better person, not only to ourselves but others around us? What can we do to maintain a better relationship with those around us? Because maybe that's all that's needed to clear a path for a better life. So much wonder in our lives can be simply made by examining ourselves and our relationship with others. Just by doing that and making the preceding changes will dramatically change our environment wherever we are and make changes to our day-to-day life accordingly. It took months, maybe a year, for me to realize that I needed to leave behind my own American values, so to speak, because they weren't helping me here. They were actually causing me anger and frustration, and I needed to learn how to relax and tune into the lifestyle here. I'm American and will always be American, but when you have grown up in a country where it was mostly competitive, all about work, and making demands and hurrying up and professionalism, like, which I'm not saying all of that is bad or it's all bad, but it doesn't exactly work out for me here. It doesn't work out the same way here. Also, our history is different. I really had to keep that in mind at all times. Our history affects the way we live in such that there are moments or transitions that take place in our country that have made an impact on new generations, which can never be forgotten. Well, the history is different here, and I had to acknowledge that fully in order to live freely and not be restrained by my country's history. You see, even our history, long before we were born, has an impact on how we live and view the world today. So, metaphysically anyway, why do these moments take place in our life periodically, and in some cases in a dramatic way? Spiritually, I think it's for growth or expansion. Perhaps it was time for a change in that person's life due to a list of reasons for that individual alone, due to a list of reasons that one cannot explain until one has gone through it. When it happens and it stirs up all kinds of emotions that makes it hard for that person to understand what they're going through. It's an emotional process, and they're oftentimes blinded by emotion. But once they step into this new phase, they seem to understand why they have gone through it eventually, and see how it benefited them, or may not have. Not all decisions that were taken were the right ones. So, but anyways, change was needed overall, and it's up to us to make the right decisions as we're going through it. Well, Anyway, I hope the information was interesting and helpful in some way. And typically, as I put the information together for these videos, I take the time to examine, myself as usual to see if it in any way may benefit anyone else, and I hope it does. Any information given isn't meant to be, law written in stone or must be followed, because we all have our own way of living. We find ways to survive and get through life the best way we can. We just do, and it's our natural instinct to survive. But we can do better than just surviving. We can live, and we can go on living. We can find ways to improve it, and that's wonderful about being human beings. We have the capability to live in harmony if we really want to collectively. Well, I hope everyone has had a beautiful day or is having a beautiful day. And remember, on the 22nd of May, this Sunday, we'll be holding a live energy healing session on Zoom at 7 p.m. my time, Spain, or 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the US. Just send us an email at metaphysicalawakening@gmail.com so we can send you the link along with a passcode. And the session will be held monthly, and it's free, so it's open to anyone who needs a bit of assistance in healing energetically or spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. So remember, they're not just for anyone who's looking for serious physical healing. They can be for someone who needs a little push, perhaps in the right direction. Perhaps their mind has been a bit cloudy and they need some clarification on something. You see, our energy can play havoc on our minds. It can play havoc on our thoughts and emotions. So a little outside help may do you some good. Well, anyways, I wish you a lovely day, and take care, everyone. Enjoy yourself lounging on the grass today or watching the sunset. Simply enjoy. Be kind to yourself by doing a bit of energy work on yourself when you get a chance. Take care, everyone. Bye.